Today on Studio One, the government initiated it, the schools are on board, but some students have a different opinion about new lunches. Also, we'll talk to the man who knows all about unwanted house guests. And in our Studio One Spotlight, we get a glimpse of one man's life after fleeing his home country.
From the University of North Dakota, this is Studio One, celebrating 25 years.
Hi everyone and welcome to Studio One. I'm Monty Cashel.
And I'm Katie Fletcher.
Got a lot of great stories lined up for you today, and one of the people we're talking to, his name is Art, and he knows a lot about
art.
Art, right. This man, he's actually UND's chair of the art and design department, and he went around campus. He started looking at all the art on campus and wanting to create a living art exhibit and getting the art out so people could see it, and started noticing a pattern.
Right, and he actually collected all this art and made a book out of it.
Yeah, Native American art in particular. He found there was quite a good collection on campus, and he created a book. We're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show. Also, moms know best, but when it comes to diapers, there's a debate. We'll tell you why cloth diapers are making a huge comeback.
And recognition is rarely needed, but greatly accepted. Later, we'll meet a husband and wife who made it their job to recognize women who have a story to tell. Before
we get to all of that, here's today's news with Allie Strand.
Thanks, Monty and Katie. The presidential election is less than 2 weeks away. However, voters in crucial states like Ohio have been able to vote since October 2nd. Ohio has been an influential battleground state for over 50 years. The state has determined the president in every election since 1960, and no Republican has gotten into office without winning Ohio. As the race tightens, state citizens are being bombarded by political campaigning and advertisements. Experts say over 333 ads per day are broadcasted. They also say with so much at stake, the focus on Ohio will last until the polls close. Malala Yousafzai is being reunited with her family. The young Pakistani girl was shot by the Taliban earlier this month. The family traveled to Britain on Thursday to be with her during the rest of her medical treatment. Doctors say she is comfortable and responding well. Malala's father says they will return home after she completes her recovery. TV watching is considered an American pastime, but now many are concerned about the rating systems, especially for young viewers. A new study by the Parents Television Council has found the content on PG-rated shows may not be suitable for children. PG-rated shows have been guilty of showing adult content. This includes sex, violence, and profanity. Because broadcast networks rate their own programs, parents say it's hard to fully determine what's appropriate. Experts suggest parents watch TV with their kids.
Families choose to have them watched or viewed, they probably need to consider sitting down with their children and watching those shows and then being able to have conversations about them.
The study shows the networks Fox, CBS, NBC, and ABC have all aired what is considered adult content with a PG rating. Twitter has shown to be a highly used and influential tool in the upcoming election. The first presidential debate set a record on Twitter. With 2,615 posts per second, it became the most tweeted about event in the U.S. 10 million tweets were posted during the debate. These numbers even beat out the Summer Olympics. The third and last debate was tweeted about 6.5 million times. Many of the debate tweets discussed economic policy. A lot of people are going green with their cars, their clothes, and now their babies. Old-fashioned diapers are making a comeback.
From going green to saving some green, this comeback is saving thousands of dollars for parents.
The biggest thing was a financial decision, just to add a little bit more into our monthly budget so that I could stay home with our third baby as well.
This eco-friendly, cost-effective product is gaining popularity as the idea of cloth diapers is hitting the market once again. Cloth diapering from birth to potty training costs an average of $381, while disposable diapers cost over $2,500. But cost is not the only reason why moms are making the switch.
And cloth diapering is one of those things that, like I said, is not only economical, and for some families is the only way they can afford to diaper their children, or more than one children, but it also is healthier for our babies. And I think as parents, that's the best thing that we want to do for our babies, is offer them a healthy start.
Disposable diapers contain absorbent chemicals that some moms want to avoid. Most disposables are bleached white with chlorine, resulting in a byproduct called dioxins, which may cause skin reactions. The World Health Organization also says they can cause a variety of health issues. diapers.
A lot of parents spend a lot of time and money investing in what we feed our children and what toys they play with, but also we have the ability to choose what goes against their most delicate parts of their body.
Cloth diapers have their downfalls. For moms like Sarah, she says there's still one part that is hard to get used to.
The smell factor. You can't be afraid of poop. I just have to say that you can't be afraid of it because you are going to have to see it again.
As an old diapering method is making its comeback, so is the money of parents with children in diapers. Reporting from Studio One, I'm Taylor Nelson.
May I help you with that, guy?
One criticism of having cloth diapers is the amount of water used to clean them. It's estimated about 10,000 gallons are used from birth to toilet training. And that's the news for now. Monty and Katie.
Thanks, Sally. That is one thing parents cannot get away from is diapers.
Yep, it's usually, the husband doesn't want to be the one roped into it, but usually has to at some time.
That's right.
Well, now it's time for the weather news with Stephanie Waldrop. We'll hear about a storm that's headed towards the East Coast.
Thanks, Katie and Monty. And yes, there is a storm heading towards the East Coast. It is still hurricane season, and the latest tropical storm to become a hurricane is Hurricane Sandy. Now, Hurricane Sandy started off in south of Cuba and didn't have a lot of threat towards the United States. But as the forecasts have changed, so has the track of Hurricane Sandy. And now the National Weather Service is saying that we could see the effects of Sandy on the East Coast by late this weekend and early next week, especially in areas like Virginia, New York, and Pennsylvania. Now, to be a tropical storm, wind speeds have to be at least 39 miles an hour, and then to upgrade to a hurricane, wind speeds have to be at least 74 miles an hour or higher. Now, hurricanes are very hard to forecast, and looking at this model, all of these different lines show different weather models, which is showing the track that they expect Hurricane Sandy to take. Now, because of all of these different lines, that is why the National Weather Service issues a warning cone instead of a warning line, because the warning cone actually covers a wider area of land, which then warns people that the hurricane is coming. Now, looking at the storm right now, officials are saying that this is the perfect storm and could cause $1 billion in damage. Right now, looking at the radar and satellite, just a little bit of rain over near Florida, but the rain is not showing in the ocean because we do not have any radar sites monitoring the ocean. But as the storm does get closer to land, we will start to see the effects of the rain and the wind, which will cause all of the damage. Now, looking ahead towards the rest of the week, it is going to be warm in the western part of the United States and then cooler over in the east and in parts of central North America. And then as far as precipitation goes, it is going to be dry throughout much of the southern parts of the United States, especially in areas of New Mexico and Texas. Now that brings us to our weather question of the day. Cold weather can reduce thirst sensation by how much? And our answers range from 10 to 40. And later on in the show, we are going to have a story about dehydration and the winter.
All right, thanks, Stephanie, for that weather news.
Dehydration in the winter.
Yeah.
So that's for those hardy folks who like running outside and things like that.
In the winter?
In the winter. Why not? Yeah. And let's turn our eyes to some sports highlights. We have some exciting ones coming up, and Brian Gendro.
Well, thanks, Monty and Katie. Playing contact sports can be rough on one's body, but it can also impact their mouth and face. In 1962, helmets and mouthguards are now required for all high school and college football players. Since then, several studies show 50% of football injuries decreased. Many think this is because the face and mouth were protected. Some say mouthguards are beneficial in non-contact sports as well.
In fact, there's more facial injuries in sports that you would not consider contact, baseball, basketball, those types of things, because you don't have a helmet, you're not protected. So those are sports that are needed also.
The American Dental Association found that individuals not wearing a mouthguard are 60 times more likely to get a facial injury. It's now time for the Studio One Sports Trivia question. Which cities have met in the most championships in a single sport? You have 4 different answers to choose from there. That answer will be up later in the show. That's the sports for now. Monty and Katie?
Thanks, Brian. Nothing stops a fun night with friends faster than having to watch your little brother. In the new movie Fun Size, we'll find out what happens when Halloween plans go awry when a teen babysits her brother and he goes missing. We'll preview that movie.
Also, some people are lucky enough to land on the cover of a magazine. We'll talk to a duo who make this a reality for people who are not yet well known.
Life is busy, but many professionals are finding ways to advance their career with a Master's in Business Administration at the University of North Dakota. Students attend UND online and on campus. The program is nationally recognized and emphasizes one-on-one with faculty. Find the title you deserve. Enroll today.
At the University of North Dakota College of Engineering and Mines, classes have real-life application. Mentors guide students. Our work improves quality of life by answering tough questions with creativity and innovation. The University of North Dakota College of Engineering and Mines, training tomorrow's engineering and geology experts today.
What does cancer look like? What about diabetes, heart disease? Medical laboratory professionals are a vital link in the treatment of disease and maintenance of health. They investigate clues found in the body that will direct patient care. The University of North Dakota's laboratory science programs are some of the most innovative, far-reaching, fully accredited programs in the nation. The UND School of Medicine and Health Sciences can help you become one of the few who see beneath the surface.
This scene is familiar, but you and your friends are at risk. 1 in 3 Americans will die from heart disease or stroke. Think about it, 1 in 3. Every day, more than 2,000 Americans die from cardiovascular disease. The Million Hearts Initiative works to prevent 1 million heart attacks and strokes. Understand the risks, get active, and reduce sodium and trans fats in your diet. It's a silent killer, but now is the time to take control of your health. Learn more about making a heart-healthy future.
Celebrating 25 years. You're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks.
Partnerships require a collaboration of strengths. This is especially important when the partnership is starting a magazine. Magazine creators Autumn and Kelly Graber are here to talk about creating a magazine that celebrates women. Well, thank you both so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
Autumn, what made you decide you wanted to create a magazine?
Well, I didn't come to the realization that I wanted to do it until I went away to college. I had been buying my groceries at the local grocery store, and being a broke college student, I was walking out the door. I saw a free women's magazine, and I thought the concept was amazing, and decided to sit in my car and read it from cover to cover at that point. And I realized that one of two things was going to happen. I was either going to do something amazing and get myself on the cover of that magazine, or create my own and bring it back to the community that I grew up in to honor the women that inspired me as I grew up.
Now, Kelly, were you a willing participant in this venture, or were you kind of wrangled into it by your wife here?
No, I tell you what, one day, I know I can think of the day that it happened. She was just thinking about what we should do and what we could do to make a mark on our family, make something for our kids, and she had that idea. I mean, she'd shared it with me a few other times, but it was more of that particular day when she says, I want to do this. What should we do? And I said, absolutely, let's go for it. I mean, if that's something that would, she wanted to be her own boss and give something back, because she has said so many times women have inspired her so much in her life that, she wanted to be able to give back the inspiring stories.
And what exactly is your role in the magazine?
Well, in the beginning, with our first publication, Lake Region Woman magazine, out of the Devil's Lake area, she's so busy with the writing and putting the content and the pictures and the interviews and everything. I went out and was doing, basically selling getting the advertising, selling the magazine, the idea that, hey, this is coming, and let's give it a shot. And then I also do the finance aspect of it behind the scenes. I have a Bachelor of Accountancy degree from UND, so I kind of try to put that to use once in a while.
Now, Autumn, what were some of the high points along the way that contributed to the success of this magazine?
Well, I think for the most part, I've been honored to be able to work in all the mediums of communication. I started out in radio and worked in television and worked at a newspaper, and I think taking all of those different key points from the learning experiences that I had from those jobs helped me to really make this a success. I kind of joke that 15 years ago I should have just launched it and quit school and did what I wanted to do, but it never would have been as successful as it is now if I had not done that. So I'm grateful that I went through school and got the learning experiences that I did.
Now, you need content to create a magazine. Do you guys have a staff, Kelly?
I tell you what, you're looking at her. We do have some writers. We do have our first male writer that contributes actually that last issue. And, people have always asked that too. Are you going to have men writing and things? And, well, behind this story, we finally said, yeah, give it a try. But, she does, she puts everything together. she does it all, with the exception of the few stories that other people contribute. So.
And we're very grateful for
absolutely.
those contributing writers that kind of came out of the woodwork once we launched the first issue. We had a number of phone calls and emails from people that wanted to be part of it, and I'm really grateful for that.
Autumn, how do you decide, you feature a woman on the front cover of each magazine. How do you decide which woman or women, you should have on the cover?
I truly believe that every woman has a story, and every woman deserves to be on the cover. It kind of depends on the situation, and obviously we want those really great heartfelt stories, and that's usually what wins over.
And you also utilize this organization called WUMIGO, is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, what is this?
WUMIGO is a great opportunity for local publications like ours to tap into national advertising revenue. We provide them with the content, and they go out and they get the national advertisers like Dell Computers and Olive Garden and businesses like that advertise on a national basis. There's over 350 local women's magazines like ours in the United States and Canada, and it is nearly impossible for us to get national advertisers. So WUMIGO allows us to do that.
And that is on a website, and we're in this digital age now where we're seeing less and less hard copies of things. Kelly, what are some things that you are doing to curtail this?
Well, I tell you what, I know she posts it online, or you can download it, the iPad. She's
absolutely,
made it possible for, if you're on the go, if you're going to take a flight and you want to hurry up and download it, you can. We utilize the internet to its full. You can Facebook and everything you can think of to get it recognized and get people to, oh, hey, I can do this now.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both so much for coming on the show today, and good luck.
Thank you.
Coming up, many parents want their kids to play sports. However, most don't want to be bankrupt by the end of the season. Find out how much the cost of youth sports has increased over the years. Also, no matter what time of year, some pests seem to find a way to creep into unwanted areas. We'll spend a day in the life of a man whose job is to keep pests where they belong.
Hi, I'm Kelly Franson. I'm a meteorologist at WBTV in Charlotte, North Carolina, but I got my start at Studio One. Congratulations on 25 great years.
Studio One closed captioning is underwritten in part by Options, your disability information source.
It's not the size of the woman in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the woman.
My doctor tells me to play outside every day.
I see a physician assistant in my rural clinic. I'm glad that she's here. But healthcare is changing.
Rural North Dakota communities face workforce shortages, particularly in primary care. The University of North Dakota School of Medicine and Health Sciences addresses the state's healthcare needs by educating the next generation of healthcare professionals. We advocate for improved health in rural communities.
Your future depends on this moment. Take the path that leads to your future.
The University of North Dakota is a place where students thrive, where personal connections matter, where classmates become friends, where leading scholars become mentors. Experience our expertise. Creative, innovative, entrepreneurial, spirited. This is the University of North Dakota.
The pressure to become popular is an issue many teens face. One young girl has shown that what popularity is truly about in the movie Fun Size. On Halloween, Ren is forced to watch her kid brother instead of going to the party of the year. The night takes a turn when he disappears. Frantic to locate her brother before her mother discovers he's missing, Ren recruits the help of 3 of her classmates.
There's lots of action and it's really adventurous and there's some romance and there's so many great aspects to it. And I just think it's really real and honest.
Director Josh Schwartz says this is his first time directing and a first movie for many of the actors. He says they discovered things together in the process. Fun Size opens in theaters October 26th with a PG-13 rating, and now it's time to look at the events happening in your area. Things like rodents, bees, and flies can be an unwelcome bother. Today we'll meet someone who looks for bothersome situations.
We all know life can be a pest. For Brian Bowman, that's what it's all about.
Probably the biggest thing right now for us guys is bed bugs. We're having a heck of a time controlling those.
And that's the types of little horrors he takes care of for his clients. For Brian, each call is a new opportunity.
Going out and meeting the customers. I really enjoy that. We all get to know each other and get to become friends.
Friends are a bonus. Family is the foundation.
I'm kind of a second generation bug man. My dad was in the service business for 38 years.
This second generation bug man plans on training in a third generation.
My wife working with me too, Teresa. Yep, and I'm just getting my son on board too, Evan.
Pest control, of course, is not all glamorous. Sometimes he has to take care of some pretty creepy crawly problems.
And we open the doors and we see rats running around all over and they're playing and squealing. So I went out to the pickup, put my coveralls on, taped up the pants legs, and went in there and started treating accordingly.
When most people would avoid these situations, Brian treats those critters to everything in his arsenal. With photographer Kelby Leak, I'm Kayla Jarris reporting for Studio One.
Brian works year-round on pests. Right now he's working on controlling the city's gopher population. Coming up, the importance of water intake in the summer, especially while working out, is well known. We'll tell you why people are more at risk for dehydration in the cold months. That story plus news, sports, and weather in the next half hour of Studio One.
Closed captioning for Studio One is underwritten in part by NDAD, helping others to help themselves.
the University of North Dakota College of Engineering and Mines, classes have real-life application. Mentors guide students. Our work improves quality of life by answering tough questions with creativity and innovation. The University of North Dakota College of Engineering and Mines, training tomorrow's engineering and geology experts today.
Life is busy, but many professionals are finding ways to advance their career with a Master's in Business Administration at the University of North Dakota. Students attend UND online and on campus. The program is nationally recognized and emphasizes one-on-one with faculty. Find the title you deserve. Enroll today.
What does cancer look like? What about diabetes, heart disease? Medical laboratory professionals are a vital link in the treatment of disease and maintenance of health. They investigate clues found in the body that will direct patient care. The University of North Dakota's laboratory science programs are some of the most innovative, far-reaching, fully accredited programs in the nation. The UND School of Medicine and Health Sciences can help you become one of the few who see beneath the surface.
From the University of North Dakota, celebrating 25 years, this is Studio One.
Welcome back to Studio One.
Thanks for joining us today.
Well, with any contact sport, there's always that risk of injury.
Yeah, everybody gets competitive and starts doing this.
Exactly, and especially, when contact sports come to mind, football is always one of them. And there was actually a study about youth boys and how, their bodies aren't completely developed yet. They have gangly arms, and there's actually some information out there that says that 90% of their brain is only developed.
Okay.
And so not 100% like you would if you were an adult. And so this draws concern when concussions come about.
And there's so much in the science right now that is unknown with concussions.
Exactly. And so we thought it'd be interesting to go get your thoughts and if you think it's okay for these youth boys to play contact football.
All right, so your answers are coming up. Also in the next 30 minutes on Studio One, kids look forward to school lunch every day as a chance to hang out with friends and refuel. We'll tell you how new lunch requirements are not meeting the consumer's expectations.
Also, war often forces people to leave their homes. We'll talk to a refugee several years after he fled his birth country.
And art is usually displayed in galleries. Later, we'll meet a man who is making art more accessible. But first, here's today's news with Allie Strand.
Thanks, Monty and Katie. Indiana Senate candidate Richard Murdoch apologized for his comments on Tuesday. The GOP Senate hopeful was criticized after issuing that abortion is not acceptable, even in the case of rape, because it is God's will. The comments were sparked near the end of a Tuesday night debate between Murdoch and Democratic Congressman Joe Denali. Murdoch responded to a question whether abortion should be legal in the circumstance of either rape or incest. The Republican Senate candidate says Democrats distorted his comments. The suspect in a fatal Atlantic Church shooting waived his first court appearance on Thursday. Floyd Palmer was charged for murder and gun possession after allegedly shooting a volunteer in the church's chapel. Witnesses say Palmer calmly walked into a prayer service Wednesday morning. He opened fire as 20 people watched in horror. He then fled the scene and was later arrested at a shopping mall. Palmer previously worked at the church as a maintenance worker. This time of year, the leaves fall and pumpkins are seen everywhere. Instead of leaving those pumpkins on your patio, you might want to consider moving them to your plates. Although they play more of a festive role in today's society, pumpkins contain a large number of health benefits. They're packed with immune-boosting antioxidants, including carotene, which gives this fall vegetable its orange tone. Carotene protects our eyes, enhances our immune system, and aids in cancer prevention. Along with antioxidants, nutritionists say pumpkins are also a good source of vitamins, high in fiber and low in calories and fat. Pumpkins can also protect your skin as well as boost your mood and your immune system. The red carpet and supermodels have influenced how women see themselves for the past decade. However, a twin study done at Michigan State University shows body image is partially blamed by genetics. The study argues why only a few develop eating disorders when everyone is exposed to the same ideas. Researchers say identical twins were much more likely to have similar outcomes than fraternal twins when how they perceive themselves. Experts say many personality traits are also decided by genes. Lunch is the time of day that students often look forward to. They get to eat and socialize with their friends. But as of last January, the food has changed and it's taken hold of the table talk.
The apples are washed, the sandwich is wrapped, and the salad bar is ready. From here on out, the lunch items will be healthy. However, public school cafeterias have fallen victim to criticism from students and parents alike. Either the food is good and unhealthy, or it's healthy and just not good.
I didn't even eat here today.
The lunchroom food has been reformed because of the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act of 2010. The program is set up to fight childhood obesity and has a few guidelines to keep kids from eating foods high in sugars and salts.
Basically, people are required to take 3 of the 5 elements of lunch, whether it's the main entree, then they're required to take a salad or a fruit.
Schools have reformed the lunches to give kids the option of at least one healthy meal where they might not be getting it for breakfast or dinner. Across the country, the reception from students, despite the school's concern, is mixed.
It's not that much food and it's just kind of just like fake stuff.
Yeah, I usually go to my house just because I like that food better, and I usually eat healthy anyway, so I think this is good that the school is eating healthier.
At East Grand Forks High School in Minnesota, there has been only one notable response to the changed lunches.
We do see probably an increase in garbage because when they're forced to take a vegetable or forced to take a fruit, they will take it and they'll run it right to the garbage can and throw it away.
Despite the school's efforts to provide healthier food options for kids, the criticism still rolls in. With photographer Stephanie Thompson, I'm Victor Correa, reporting for Studio One.
In some schools, all the students brought sack lunches on the same day in protest. Also, kids have gone as far as posting videos on YouTube that went viral to voice their displeasure. And that's the news for now. Monty and Katie.
Thanks, Allie. Well, that's one thing you can be sure. If kids don't like something, they'll tell you.
Oh yeah, they will. They'll push their plate away.
One way or another.
All right, well, it's time now for the weather news with Stephanie Waldruff. We'll hear about a place that actually is experiencing snow already.
Thanks, Katie and Monty. Yes, parts of the northwestern United States are actually already seeing lots of snow. Now, this is because of an Arctic blast that went through earlier this week and dumped snow across the Cascade Mountains in Oregon and then also parts of northern California as well. Ski resorts in Willamette were covered in the white stuff. However, the ski resorts aren't open for the season quite yet. Many snow enthusiasts are excited about the early snow, as last year it remained dry through January and left skiers with only small amounts of man-made snow to use. This was an early snow and rain-packed storm, but a similar storm is actually expected to go through the area sometime later this week. Now, the heaviest of the snow fell in Mount Hood, with 18 inches being measured at Mount Hood. But then as the elevation went down, so did the amounts of snow. In Willamette, we did see less snow, a little more rain, and then also in Yakima, we saw lots of precipitation, including rain and snow. Now, as the seasons do change, people might think they don't have to drink as much water, but they could be wrong.
Fall may be your last chance to get outside before the snow hits the ground, and the cooler temperatures don't stop outdoor enthusiasts from taking advantage of it. In their rush to get outside, however, they may forget something important.
In cold weather, you may think, oh, it's cold, I don't have to worry about overheating. And so I guess there is a slight danger of thinking, well, I don't have to hydrate.
Dehydration comes from a lack of water in the body and is normally felt through thirst. In cold weather, however, it may not be as easy.
Dehydration, with cold weather, your thirst response is a little bit dampened, so you don't get quite as thirsty as you would in warmer weather.
Drinking water during exercise is important, but drinking water during everyday activities is important as well.
As long as you're getting, I think like 400 to 800 milliliters, so around 20 ounces of water an hour, you can stay pretty safe.
If you are ever wondering whether you're dehydrated or not, Dr. Short has one simple rule to keep you safe.
If you're thirsty, you should drink. It's kind of your body telling you, hey, need a little more water here.
Paying attention to your body during cold weather will keep dehydration from putting a damper on your day. I'm Tim Ullman, reporting for Studio One.
Now, back in the day, people didn't drink water during long endurance races because they thought it was a sign of weakness. Now, that brings us back to our weather question of the day. Cold weather can reduce the thirst sensation by how much? Our answers range from 10 to 40%, and the correct answer is actually 40%. So if you're doing some cold weather running, be sure to stay hydrated.
Yes, good info. Thanks, Stephanie.
Thank you.
40%.
Yeah, my goodness.
Wow. So if you're exercising outside in the cold, make sure you drink.
Make sure.
All right. Let's turn to another sports-related story with, of course, our sports anchor, Brian Gendro.
Thanks, Monty and Katie. It's a growing trend as of late for kids to be only one sport athletes. Not only is this because of the increasing amount of time each activity requires, but also because of finances. These days, even the littlest leagues cost the big bucks.
This is 16-year-old Joey Anderson, North Dakota's state champion in singles and doubles tennis. It takes a lot to fill Joey's shoes: talent, agility, hard work, and money.
I've been to probably 15 states regarding tennis, playing tournaments throughout my career.
Like many young athletes, Joey is subject to paying to compete at the sport he loves.
Yes, it's all out of the family's pocket.
I have like 5 rackets, which are $200 each. Pair of shoes, I have 2 pair of shoes, $100 each. That's at $200. Shirts, shorts.
It's not only elite athletes in individual sports that feel the burn in their wallets. It's estimated the average youngster will rack up more than $10,000 in athletic expenses, regardless of the sport they compete in.
So you're helping pay for your coaches, you're helping pay for your referees, you're helping pay for your ice time, you're helping pay for your tournaments and your gate fees.
And for those activities that involve excessive equipment, it's even more.
Back in the day where, you could get a good stick for $30, now top end stick is $250. Skates are $700, where back in the day when I played, it was $100 for a good pair of skates.
These steep expenses have many wondering if the bang on the court is worth all the bucks.
It's time then as a family, since all 3 of my kids play. It's a lot of windshield time, but it's time we're together. Financially it costs money, but he has the memories.
I'm really thankful. I thank her after every tournament. She does. Without her, I wouldn't probably be anywhere. But yeah, I plan on paying her back, and whether it be scholarships after college, however that might be. But yeah, I plan to.
These sports may cost a pretty penny, but the benefits can last a lifetime.
Joey plans to continue his tennis career at the next level after high school. He hopes to attain a scholarship to play at the Division I level. Now the answer to this week's Studio One Sports Trivia question: which cities have met in the most championships in a single sport? The answer to that question is D, Boston and Los Angeles. The sport was basketball, so that was essentially the Celtics and the team that is now called the Los Angeles Lakers. That's the sports for now. Monty and Katie?
Thanks, Brian. Many people get tired of looking at the same scenery around their house. We'll meet a woman who helps people colorize their interior.
And 1 in every 170 people in the world has been uprooted for more. We'll tell you the story of one young man's life when he was forced to start over.
This scene is familiar, but you and your friends are at risk. 1 in 3 Americans will die from heart disease or stroke. Think about it. 1 in 3. Every day, more than 2,000 Americans die from cardiovascular disease. The Million Hearts Initiative works to prevent 1 million heart attacks and strokes. Understand the risks, get active, and reduce sodium and trans fats in your diet. It's a silent killer, but now is the time to take control of your health. Learn more about making a heart-healthy future.
At the University of North Dakota College of Engineering and Mines, classes have real-life application. Mentors guide students. Our work improves quality of life by answering tough questions with creativity and innovation. The University of North Dakota College of Engineering and Mines, training tomorrow's engineering and geology experts today.
What does cancer look like? What about diabetes, heart disease? Medical laboratory professionals are a vital link in the treatment of disease and maintenance of health. They investigate clues found in the body that will direct patient care. The University of North Dakota's laboratory science programs are some of the most innovative, far-reaching, fully accredited programs in the nation. The UND School of Medicine and Health Sciences can help you become one of the few who see beneath the surface.
Most people don't know what it's like to be an entrepreneur. My time clock is around the clock. My ideas are fresh, but they need research and development. My business plan includes marketing strategies, legal documents, and a budget. My startup became possible through mentorship, hands-on experience, and learning from experts in the field. The Center for Innovation has contributed to more than 400 University of North Dakota student startups. Come with an idea. Leave with a business.
From the University of North Dakota, celebrating 25 years. This is Studio One.
Sometimes change is good. A local artist and interior designer helps her customers add a little color to their lives.
In many homes, Terry Berg adds complexion and identity to each wall.
I love it. I really love doing it. I love, like I said, helping people take the color plunge.
While Terry helps others take the color plunge, the love of her job is what keeps her going. Besides her family, Terry's true love is paint.
Yeah, I think the whole process is fun. And so for me to fall into this as a job just made so much sense to me.
For 2 decades, Terry has been finding a variety of colors to fit a rainbow of personalities.
And I finally decided one day, a couple of years ago, why am I not getting paid for this?
Not everyone enjoys painting the interiors of their homes, but Terry has no problem with adding a splash of color to her customers' walls.
Well, I hate painting, so it was well worth it to me to find someone to come in and try and help me with the project.
Terry's creativity is left on people's walls, but more importantly, she brings color to those who need it most.
Come on in.
With Terry's artist experience, she also teaches art classes through the Arts and Classroom program at a nursing home.
I just like to help people out, so if that's what they need, I just bring it.
By bringing a vivid imagination to her pupils, Terry's goal is to bring the picturesque life into everyone's home. With photographer Stephanie Shire, I'm Jimmy Geffro reporting for Studio One.
Terry has been a volunteer artist for nonprofit organizations over the years. She began as a volunteer before starting her own interior design business. 14 is the age of transformation for adolescents. Long, gangly arms become stronger, and hair begins to grow on the face. Kids have been playing contact sports long before any signs of puberty occur. Concussions have been a growing problem in youth sports. We went out and asked your thoughts on whether young kids should be allowed to play contact sports.
Some rules should be changed for how younger kids play as opposed to older.
That's part of life. The good, you have to take the bad with the good.
I think they could probably make it more safer by having, better equipment.
Depends on the kid too, the size and whatever.
I think it's crucial for kids, especially, to be able to adapt to certain skill sets.
I don't like sports personally. I think it should be more on education than sports. I think that's mainly what kids should be, what schools should be promoting.
In hockey, they could avoid the contact by not being able to do certain things.
I know that concussions can be a real problem for certain age groups, especially right in the time when your brain's changing.
The civilian population are often the true victims of war. Many people end up as refugees, forcefully having to leave their homelands. In today's Studio One Spotlight, we meet a man who fled his homeland to Liberia when the country broke out in a brutal civil war in 1989.
Education, a safe home to grow up in, and freedom. Some things in life we often take for granted.
My name is Losini Belete, and I'm from Liberia.
If it weren't for the bloodshed, it would almost be comical. These are the people Taylor says will help restore democracy to Liberia.
More than 20 years later, the pictures from the Liberian Civil War still tells a story of violence, brutality, and despair. Being a child of this war, Mohammed's story is an example of courage, hope, and humanity.
I believe there was a time period where a major news network or news magazine said that, Sierra Leone and Liberia in the mid-1990s were probably the most dangerous and frankly horrible places to live because of the extraordinary brutality of the civil war there.
Right after the war broke out in Liberia, me and my family, we crossed the border to Guinea for rescue.
While he was growing up in refugee camps, Lucini's favorite activities were school and soccer. Everyday life carried little hope for resettlement.
So few people make it out of the refugee camp to a third country. Many people will not make it.
Statistics from the United Nations shows there are more than 15 million refugees worldwide in 2011. Only 0.5% of them are being relocated to a third country every year.
Around the world, we'll see refugees forced to flee their homeland into areas that are, not ready to support the massive influx of people. So refugee camps being overcrowded. Sometimes there's violence in the area.
In 2004, Lucini and his family were resettled in Grand Forks, North Dakota. Lucini, known as Muhammad to his friends, was determined to integrate into his new community.
Since I came here, it's been actually something that I'm so interested in. I have been able to be like an organizer when it comes to soccer in this Grand Forks area.
Besides being the president of the University of North Dakota Soccer Club, the most important thing for Lucini was to get an education.
Oh, I was thinking like, I want to go to school,
Lucini, ability.
It was a very happy day for me, actually, graduating, wearing a gown.
Lucini's journey from war-torn Liberia to the quiet Midwest taught him about safety, education, and freedom. Some of the things in life we often take for granted. Doug Amdam, reporting for Studio One.
Lucini is still taking classes at the University of North Dakota. He's now working on a graduate degree in law and public works. Lucini says his ultimate dream is to go back to Liberia to do public works and help out others in need. Still to come, art has history and sometimes it can be lost. Next, we'll meet a man who dug up the past to write an award-winning book about Native American art.
Studio One is a television show produced by students at the University of North Dakota.
You can be a part of the graphics team, the marketing team, news team, programming team, production team.
Training never ends.
You get to produce guests, you get to do the reporting side of it.
It's really worth the experience. You will not regret it.
This scene is familiar, but you and your friends are at risk. 1 in 3 Americans will die from heart disease or stroke. Think about it, 1 in 3. Every day, more than 2,000 Americans die from cardiovascular disease. The Million Hearts Initiative works to prevent 1 million heart attacks and strokes. Understand the risks, get active, and reduce sodium and trans fats in your diet. It's a silent killer, but now is the time to take control of your health. Learn more about making a heart-healthy future.
My doctor tells me to play outside every day.
I see a physician assistant in my rural clinic. I'm glad that she's here.
But healthcare is changing.
Rural North Dakota communities face workforce shortages, particularly in primary care. The University of North Dakota School of Medicine and Health Sciences addresses the state's healthcare needs by educating the next generation of healthcare professionals. We advocate for improved health in rural communities.
It's not the size of the woman in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the woman.
Not everyone has the ability to see art in galleries. There's quite a collection of Native American art at the University of North Dakota. Art and design professor Art Jones knew this and wrote an award-winning book about Native American art at UND. Thanks for coming on the show today.
Well, thank you for having me, Monty.
Yeah, well, first of all, I have to address this. Your name is Art, and you love art, you work in art, you're immersed in it every day.
Mm-hmm.
Was this fate?
Well, I capitalize on it. You know, it's something I've always taken advantage of.
Of course.
Yeah.
Now, can you explain a little bit about the project you've been working on, this living museum of art?
Okay, well, when I came here in 2003, I noticed that the university had this really incredible art collection. The problem is it wasn't being utilized in very effective ways. It was used as decoration, but it wasn't used much for education. So I came up with this idea of trying to better manage the collection, and along with that, eventually through time, came up with this concept called the Living Art Museum. And that meant utilizing art in a way that related to people in the environments that they inhabited or worked in, so that, for example, in the education building, we've put works throughout the building, keeping the theme of education in mind, which relates to the people.
So you're bringing it out there to buildings that weren't originally meant to display art, but they're around there, part of the building now.
Well, we don't, the university doesn't really have its own art museum, even though there's an art museum on campus, the North Dakota Museum of Art. It's really not part of the university. But the university does, on the other hand, have this really incredible art collection.
Sure.
And it really wasn't being put to very good use.
And part of that wonderful art collection, as you were going around to the different places looking at art, was the Native American art.
Oh, yes.
And so you started seeing this around, enough of a pattern that, wow, there's a lot here, that you wrote a book about it.
Yeah, and I should say that in writing the book, I wasn't so presumptuous as to think that I could just write a book on Native North American art. I made sure that I involved a number of other people in the book project.
Sure.
So I'm a co-author.
Right.
And co-editor of this book.
Sure. And now this book, tell us exactly what it's about.
Okay. The book features works that the university owns, and also work owned by the University Foundation, which is separate from the university. Mm-hmm. In fact, the title of the book is Storytelling Time, Native North American Art from the Collections at the University of North Dakota. And the reason why it says at instead of is because it also includes the University Foundation collection as well as the university's own collection.
Well, how did you find the pieces to include in the book? How did you go through that?
Well, I wandered around the campus, and in wandering around the campus, I tried to locate the various artworks that existed from one unit to the other, and sometimes in academic departments and sometimes in non-academic areas as well. And in doing that, I noticed that we had scattered around the campus this incredible collection of American Indian art. And one of the most interesting places I found it was in the Indian Studies Department, where Mary Kettling, who was at that time the administrative secretary, and Dakota herself, she showed me this box of materials that she had rescued from the warehouse. And these were really incredible objects. There's a whole chapter in the book that deals with them and tells the story about that collection. Mary Kettling rescued it because it was about to be, thrown away.
Wow.
And
so
she brought it back to her department. She showed it to me. And of course, as soon as I told her that I had been appointed by the university administration, she thought I was there to confiscate it. So she developed an immediate distrust of me. And I had to convince her that I really was there to try to help her. Because she wanted to sell it off for scholarships.
Right, and eventually really show the public what a great collection this was. Now, the design of the book includes a lot of pictures. How important was it to visually display this through the book?
Extremely important, because part of the living museum idea that I had was that we can actually contribute to the world. We can show the collection to the world through an impressive publication like this. And I should say it's very handsomely designed by a colleague who teaches graphic design in my department, Lucy Ganji.
Okay, yeah, did a great job.
Who was also co-editor and one of the co-authors.
Okay, yeah. And it is visual. I mean, you can't get away from that. When you're looking through it, there's just so many great pictures in there. What can a reader expect to get out of this book?
Well, I think the reader can expect to have an understanding of how, why American Indian art was collected, let's say historically, because we deal with that in the book too. Why did people originally in this country gather amass collections of Native American art? And the reasons why they did it, let's say in the late 19th century and the early 20th century, are very different from the way we regard it today.
Sure.
Because at one time it was seen as, these were seen as relics from a disappearing culture.
Right.
And today we see them in much more contemporary terms as, living examples of a culture that's very much alive.
Art, thank you so much for coming on today. It's a beautiful book, and congratulations on it.
Well, thank you for having me here, Monty.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Well, you're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota. We'll be back right after this.
Closed captioning for Studio One is underwritten in part by NDAD, helping others to help themselves.
It's not the size of the woman in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the woman.
The University of North Dakota is a place where students thrive, where they learn from leading experts, share in discoveries and create knowledge. Experience our expertise. Creative, innovative, entrepreneurial, spirited. This is the University of North Dakota.
Your future depends on this moment. Take the path that leads to your future.
Studio One is a television show produced by students at the University of North Dakota.
You can be a part of the graphics team, the marketing team, news team, programming team, production team.
Training never ends.
You get to produce guests, you get to do the reporting side of it.
It's really worth the experience. You will not regret it.
Most people don't know what it's like to be an entrepreneur. My time clock is around the clock. My ideas are fresh, but they need research and development. My business plan includes marketing strategies, legal documents, and a budget. My startup became possible through mentorship, hands-on experience, and learning from experts in the field. The Center for Innovation has contributed to more than 400 University of North Dakota student startups. Come with an idea. Leave with a business.
Thanks for watching us today.
And we're going to leave you now with pictures of a farm that specializes in pumpkins and corn mazes. From all of us here at Studio One, have a great week.